Hi everyone, so today we're going to go over systems of equations with two variables when no coefficients of the same variables are the same. So we can start with an example. 2x plus 3y equals 5, and 4x minus 8y equals 12, we'll say. So what you want to do in these problems is find two numbers that have low multiples, that share multiples. So in this example, for example, 2 and 4 share a multiple of 4. 2 times 2 and 4 times 1. And you want to make sure when you multiply an equation to make the smaller number a multiple of the larger number, you want to make sure to make one of them negative and one of them positive. So in this example, both of them are positive, so you want to multiply the 2x plus 3y equals 5 times negative 2 to make the 2x equal negative 4x, and that will cancel out with the 4x to get 0x, and then you will solve for y. So you get, when you do that, you get negative 4x minus 6y equals negative 10, and you get 4x minus 8y equals 12 for the other equation. So when you do that, as you can see, the 4x and the negative 4x cancel out, and then you get minus 14y equals 2. So now when you solve for y, the 0x is just not there because it's 0. And so you can divide by negative 14, and you get y equals negative 1/7. Now as you can see, in order to do this, what we had to do is we had to multiply one of the equations by a number to get it, one of the coefficients of the variables to be the same as the coefficient for the other equation, so that they could cancel out, especially because one of them had to be positive, one of them had to be negative. So now what we can do is we can plug in y into one of the equations to get x. So for example, we'll use the first equation. So we get 2x plus 3 times negative 1/7 equals 5. And so when we solve that, we get 2x minus 3/7, or plus negative 3/7, however you want to see it, equals 5. And then if we add 3/7 to the right side of the equation, to both sides of the equation I should say, we get 2x equals 5 plus 3/7. And now to combine two fractions, you can either make it into an improper fraction, or you can take the 5 and make it have a common denominator. We'll do that. So we get 2x equals 35/7 plus 3/7. And how you got 35/7 is you multiply 5 times 7 over 7 to have a common denominator. And so you get 2x equals 38/7. And so you divide by 2, and as you should know, dividing by 2 is the same thing as multiplying times 1/2. So when you do this, you get x equals 38/14. And you can divide both of those by 2 to get x equals 19/7. Now, as you can see, both numbers were fractions in this equation. They weren't the best numbers, but they still worked because you made sure that the coefficients for one variable were the same but had different signs so that they canceled out. And you did this by multiplying by a number to make that would make one of the numbers for the coefficients the same number as the coefficient for the same variable in the second equation, because you found a common multiple for both of those coefficients. Now we can go with another example. For example, 3x plus 4y equals 4, and negative 2x minus 8y, we'll say, equals 2. Now, so again, you want to find numbers that have common multiples, and when you do this, multiply either one or both of the equations to get those equations to those multiples. So for example, in this example, 4 and 8 share a common multiple of 8. 3 and 2 also share a common multiple of 6, so you could do either one, but I would go with 4 and 8 because you only have to change one of the equations. So as you can see in this one, 8 already has a negative attached to it, and so we don't need to multiply the 4 times a negative number to get them to cancel out. So we can just multiply the whole equation with 4 times a positive number, which in this case would be positive 2, to get the 4y to 8y. So we'd multiply 2 times 3x plus 4y equals 4, and we would get 6x plus 8y equals 8. And then for the bottom equation, we would get the same thing as above, negative 2x minus 8y equals 2. So when we add these two equations together, we get 4x plus 0y, as you can see because they canceled out, equals 10. And so we get x equals 10/4 or 5/2. Now again, you have to find the common multiple, make sure one is positive, one is negative. I know I'm sounding like a broken record here, but this is really important, and I understand a lot of people struggle with this, so it's really important. So now we can plug in the 5/2 into one of the equations, and so we get 3 times 5/2 plus 4y equals 4, so we get 15/2 plus 4y equals 4, and so we can subtract 15/2 from both sides and get 4y equals 4 minus 15/2, and so we can convert the 4 by multiplying it times 2/2, so we get 4y equals 8/2 minus 15/2, and hopefully you know how to do something like this, so you get 4y equals negative 7/2, and you can divide by 4, which is the same thing as above, is the same thing as multiplying times 1/4, and so you get negative 7/2 times 1/4, and you get y equals negative 7/8. So now you found both of the variables in this equation, again by multiplying to a multiple of 2 of the coefficients to make sure that they're the same number and that one has a positive sign, one has a negative, so they cancel out. And so that, again, is really important. Hopefully you understand that. And so thanks for watching this video. Hopefully you found it helpful. And if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments. Thanks!